What is good, my peoples? This is your Cosmic Homegirl, and I'm doing a weekly forecast for the week that began June 20th of 2021 and ends June 28th of 2022. Sorry, I'm getting this out a little late, but there is still a lot to cover for this week. These eclipses have been kicking my ass. Okay, like I'm still kind of sort of human like most of you guys, and yeah, I'm not exempt to any of the major transits that hit, especially like eclipses, Mercury retro. So forgiveness is asked for my absence off of here and social media, but I've really had to tend to the areas of life where the eclipses have been hitting me the hardest, and address some very serious stuff, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I am doing my best to still get content out and keep in touch with everybody and stuff like that. So I will be working on going back through my inboxes and all that stuff like very shortly. This week I will be doing that. So yeah, apologies to everybody who's tried to reach out to me or has been looking for me online, looking for content here on YouTube. I've really had to address some regular human stuff, okay, big time stuff. So anyhow, before we get started on the weekly forecast too, just letting you guys know that I do have extended horoscope stuff. Okay, I'm gonna be talking about some major stuff, of course, like I do on the weeklies and stuff like that, but I do go in on certain transits on extended videos, and I am building a YouTube membership. It's kind of a pain in the asshole, to set it up a little bit, but I do in the meanwhile have a Patreon, so you guys can join me on Patreon. And I have some exclusive stuff on there. So there are transits like Jupiter and Pisces. I go through the whole entire transit of Jupiter and Pisces on there. It's happening this year. It's happening next year. I go through Saturn retrograde, Saturn square Uranus, major transits that really require some in-depth stuff. And I do go through the signs too and let you guys know how they affect your sign as well. So you could find stuff like that on my Patreon. Plus, I will be, at least in the month of July, starting to do some live streams and Q&As and stuff like that, and a lot of other special things that are coming. So yeah, most definitely join some of the other cosmic homies that have already joined on Patreon, and you can find some exclusive stuff there. Also, if you want to know more in detail about major transits like Jupiter and Pisces, Saturn in Aquarius, the eclipses, the Mercury retros for the whole entire year, you can still find those on my horoscopes page. They're now 50% off. Okay, so they are hugely discounted. There's still a lot. There's still half of 2021 left, you guys. So I do have some detailed info for your sign on how everything affects you. Excuse me. As far as like the major transits, I even go through periods of time for love, for money, you know what I'm saying? Like isolate those and really go in on them. So yeah, those are now 50% off. Okay, so this is 2 hours worth of info for like $8.99. So you don't want to miss out on that. I'm going to be taking these off very soon because I need to make way for the 2022 yearly horoscopes that are coming up soon. So if you haven't got you one of these, get you one. Also, the other major transits I talked about, like Jupiter and Pisces, if you want to know how it affects you, you can just get the video. This is so weird. I thought I aligned this up. But anyway, if you want to know how Jupiter and Pisces will affect all of us and you by your sign, you can get that off of my website as well if you don't want to do the Patreon or any membership thing. As well as Saturn retrograde, I do have those separately on my website. So yeah, go ahead and hit me up on the horoscopes page on my page, and I will link it in the description box or in the comments below. And also to my Patreon, you guys can find me there. I'll leave the link for that too. And if you guys are looking for some really in-depth personal tarot and astrology readings, my Astro bestie the astrology lady Apollonia. You guys have seen her on my channel. You have heard her guest, have guest appearances on some of my stuff, and I've had guest appearances on some of her stuff. She really is thorough and detailed. If any of you guys have had any type of personal reading from me in the past, you know that I really go in. It's hard for me to shut up and stop talking. I really go in depth, and she is the same way. She is very good, so she has a wealth of options on her page. She's offering some sales and discounts right now, especially tarot. You know what I'm saying? You guys, if you're into tarot, she's a real deal. So check out my homegirl, the astrology lady Apollonia. I'll leave the link to her stuff below as well. Okay. All right, guys, now let's get into this week. So what's the biggest stuff happening for us? What's happening now? It is Cancer season now, and you guys, I'll post a link to this video that I did a couple years ago with one of my other besties who's a Cancer sun sign, and she's such a fucking goofball. Like, we're two peas in a pod. We're two cartoon characters when we get together. And Cancer, like, we did this video about cancers. I interviewed her, how is it to be a Cancer and all this stuff. It's so hilarious. But we were talking smack about how a lot of Cancers that I know, they don't care to pronounce things properly. They don't care if they get the words of songs wrong. They're just goofy. You know what I'm saying? Just straight up goofballs. So I was making fun of her about how back in the day when we were young, like super young, that song EI from Nelly came out, and he says, "What's poppin' tonight?" And she thought he said, "What's happening now?" And I'm like, why would he say what's happening? Like, Nelly is from the South in the US, or the Midwest in the US. Okay, they don't say what's a happening. Like, and if anyone's offended by my appreciation and love for accents and stuff, you can just go somewhere the fuck else. Okay, like, we're not here for that over here. We have a sense of humor, and we appreciate accents from everywhere, so just fucking go somewhere. Okay, but anyway, if you appreciate goofiness, because Cancers tend to be like hella goofy, and I don't mean goofy like how people say that now to be mean towards somebody. I mean the fun, silly, goofy, you know what I'm saying, that laughs about stuff. I will link that video. Okay, I digress. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, like they say, like my Canadian people say. All right, so what's going on this week? Let's really get into that. So yes, Cancer season, quote unquote, has begun because the sun has entered Cancer. But you guys already know Mars has been through Cancer in the last couple months. Venus has been in Cancer over the last month. So we've already had the vibes of that sign active, okay, like hella active in the sky and in our worlds. But now that the sun is in Cancer, there's even more of that added to the mix, which means more Cancerian themes are coming to the forefront, like anything to do with family, especially motherhood, babies, pregnancy, women, femininity, things to do with food, baking, hospitality, your place of living, whether you live in a home, an apartment, a fucking box, a shack, a car, a trailer, under a bridge, wherever you live that's comfortable to you. Like, Cancer energy deals with that. So just flat out comfort and security, and parental figures and all of that jazz. The sun in Cancer brings all of that to light even more. Okay. I think I talked about this a little bit last week, maybe not, or it's been a little bit, but the sun will be in the sign of Cancer until July 22nd. So he will be here, highlighting this energy. And the sun in Cancer will be making aspects to Uranus and Taurus, making a challenging aspect to Chiron in, in fucking Aries. He'll be making a good aspect to Jupiter in Pisces, good aspect to Neptune in Pisces, he will be making a challenging aspect in the sky to Pluto and Capricorn later on down the line too. So I will try to cover all of those within the next month. But yeah, enjoy more of the Cancer vibes, get together with people that you love, that you trust, and cuddle them and care for them. Just don't be on that crybaby shit too much. Okay, seriously, the feels are too real during Cancer season. Because, then, like I said, these planets in this sign, they make aspects to Neptune and Pisces, a fellow water sign. And oh my God, the tears are just way too real, you guys. Like, oh my God. So especially this week that I'm covering, we do have Venus in a trine aspect to Neptune. This aspect, let's see. Yeah, it's more popping like the 21st of June exact, but even beyond that, it's still lingering on. And Venus trine Neptune. This is a beautiful aspect, actually. I'm getting a little choked up already just thinking about it. Like I said, the feels are too real, especially if you are a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Like, this season, it makes you more in your element, but it, like, the crybaby shit is just, oh my God, it's just too much. But anyway, Venus trine Neptune is beautiful. This is a very flowy, go with the flow energy when it comes to love and money, basically, which Venus rules. And also with art, because Venus rules art and beauty, things that are aesthetically pleasing and, pleasing to the five senses that we count as art. And Neptune is also a planet that rules art, like especially visual arts and music. Every type of art, Neptune has us in tune with. Okay, so there's a natural flow with Venus and Neptune aspecting each other in a positive way this week. Another thing that Neptune rules, see, the water signs are very quote unquote psychic. You guys know I fucking hate that word, but most people, that's how they recognize when we talk about like intuition and just channeling and vibes and all that. The word psychic is very popular, unfortunately, and in a corny ass way. But psychic ability, or just being highly intuitive and just receiving messages from beyond, or channeling messages from other people that you are very deeply connected to, especially on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, on a heart level. Neptune is associated with that. And then Venus, it rules love and peace and all that, but love, yeah, is Venus. So I have noticed, that the feels are way too real with Venus trine Neptune, but it can be in a very beautiful way, to where you feel like you and another person are on the same page emotionally. Or hey, shit, maybe if you are spiritually connected to someone, you could really pick up on their energy, or you guys have this little telepathy thing going on that day, or this whole week. And maybe you feel what they feel, they feel what you feel, or you guys think about each other at the same time, try to contact each other at the same time, stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be like a romantic dating relationship. It can mean just people that you love in general. You start to think about them, and then all of a sudden you see something that has to do with them, if you're driving around and thinking, or you're watching something on your phone or your device, TV, whatever, and you like feel something and think about someone, and then something comes on that has to do with them, and it's like, oh shit, like those type of synchronicities happen under any aspects to Neptune, whether the challenging ones like a conjunction or an opposition or square. Even the squares can make some shit pop off, with the telepathy and stuff like that. We still have Mercury squaring Neptune as well. Mercury's sitting at that 16th degree for a hot minute, because he's retro, he's slowing down, and then he goes direct this week. Okay, so he's kind of sitting at this degree, still aspecting Neptune. So yeah, we have Mercury square Neptune, and we have Venus trine Neptune. So there's like, these two planets that are very close to us in the sky, like, like receiving this Neptune energy and beaming that down here. So yeah, there's a lot of sensitivity. There's a lot of possibly regret, especially with Mercury retro. You know, people could be thinking back to times that someone did them wrong, or that they did someone else wrong, and you know, there could be feelings like that come up. Some of you guys may know or may not know, but I do watch a lot of like tarot readers, like, you know, mostly for entertainment, just to see what they say. Well, I don't watch like a whole bunch of them. I have like my group of go-tos, you know, and those of you who follow tarot, you know what I mean by that. I just have a small handful of my go-tos, but I listen to their videos for my signs, you know, just to see what they say, whatever. And yeah, it seems like there's a lot of that in the air over the last like month or two because of Mercury retrograde in general, and it's been making squares to Neptune this whole time. Neptune deals with regret and the past and guilt and, you know, feelings of like sadness and stuff sometimes. Sometimes Neptune does deal with manipulation, you know, so you have to be careful with that. And then plus, you know, Neptune is associated with deception. So like if somebody pops back up in your life under this Mercury retro and Mercury shadow, and they're like coming through with all the feels and, oh, I'm sorry if I did this and that. Just wait until, you know, around mid-July to see if they really stick to what the fuck they said. Okay. And see if they actually mean that shit. So, but yeah, that could be still going on this week, especially because now we have, 2 planets in Cancer, at least for a second. You know what I mean? Okay. Excuse me. Another aspect that is developing this week, you guys. I don't think it's going to be exact until next week, but this week it starts to build up. Is Mars and Leo making a square aspect to Uranus and Taurus. Okay. Mars and Uranus. Anything. Honestly, I don't really like to see in the sky by transit, in someone's personal transits. I don't really like to see it, to be honest. Of course, I will point out, you know, the good and the bad or whatever. But honestly, like Mars and Uranus, this can equate to a few different things generally. Okay, for us, all of us, doesn't matter what your signs are, but especially if you are anything in the fixed signs like Taurus, Leo, shit, my bad, the microphone, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you can possibly experience more of the effects. But Mars and Uranus squaring each other, Mars is action, right? It's like actually physically doing stuff, moving around, walking, running, especially aggressive actions. Yeah, like running and stuff like that. Even you driving, I would say, is more of a Mercury thing because it requires your hands and your mind, but you're still physically moving in an object made of metal, and that is ruled by Mars. So Uranus is sudden, weird, all things popping up and happening out of the blue, right? Unexpected, surprise, like ugly surprises sometimes are Uranus, sometimes good ones too. But yeah, Mars and Uranus is very accident prone, period. It's very accident prone, whether you're like just doing you're not operating in a machinery, you're working out or something, you know, not like driving or doing heavy machinery like at a job or anything. Even just walking around, Mars square Uranus, you need to be careful so you don't like have any type of minor injuries or anything like that, or accidentally run into something, walk into something. You just need to be careful with this aspect. Also, this can bring about a lot of nervous energy, and because Uranus releases surges, right? Like a surgence of like nervous, jittery type of energy. So you could feel that like anxiety a little bit more and restlessness, and maybe have trouble sleeping and stuff like that. So that's starting to build up this week. Mars square Uranus, anything good about it? I guess if you like being a fucking spaz, like if you have fun and get off on being a spaz, this is your jam right here. This could be your week and next week, so you can do extra spaz-tastic shit. But and also, yeah, if you are a dancer, like a dancer, especially if you dance and like hip hop and any type of dance that requires any odd movements or jerking movements, sudden ones, robotic movements even. This is actually a good aspect. Or if you just like being a plain flat out fucking animated weirdo, which there's nothing wrong with that to me. This aspect brings more of that out of you, like slapstick comedy type of movements, like the old school Jim Carrey shit, for example. You know how, especially on In Living Color and like all his movies from like the 90s where he was super animated and weird. That type of stuff is Mars and Uranus also aspecting each other. But at the same time, Mars is developing in opposition to Saturn. Okay, so this, like, I don't mind seeing in the mix because Saturn is an opposite energy to Uranus. Like, it anchors us down. It makes us Saturn says, sit your ass down. Like, that's what Saturn says. Sit your ass down. Calm down, just stay in one spot. Focus. All of that is Saturn. Where Uranus is like, like erratic all over the place, So there's both of those influences affecting Mars starting this week. So we could all be going back and forth between being spazzy AF or super focused, sitting down, doing our work, doing what we got to do, handling our business. Okay. So that's developing this week too. Okay. So also we have Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter retrograde starts on the 20th. And Jupiter is retrograde in the sign of Pisces until the end of July. Okay, and then shameless plug, I have a Jupiter in Pisces video, okay, where I go over this retrograde period that is happening now. I have a video on that and the whole entire transit that goes through 2022. Okay, so you want to peep that. I got it on my horoscopes page. You can join me on Patreon and have access to all those type of videos. But yeah, Jupiter retrograde starts this week. What does this mean? Well, what I've noticed from, just people around me, close to me, that what they've been hitting me up and telling me and stuff is a few different things with this Jupiter retro. So Jupiter brings opportunity, right? They have been presented with opportunities over the last like month or two. And then while Jupiter has been slowing down, and then now it's retro, but excuse me, while it was slowing down even, they had opportunities that either they turned down during the forward period of Jupiter in Pisces, and now that opportunity has come back, or they had an opportunity that they thought they were going to just jump and fly after, and then it didn't fall through and something better came along. So those are just a few different examples of that. Okay. Because like I said, Jupiter brings opportunity. Retro is retracting something. Or it can be redoing and going back over something, an opportunity, and seeing like, is this really for me type of thing, And for a lot of people, maybe what pops up right now, while Jupiter's barely into 2 degrees of Pisces, it's still got like 28 more degrees to go through that sign over the course of the next year. So if something doesn't fall through right now, wherever Pisces is at in your chart, don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. You may see that opportunity come back again at the end of this year or sometime next year. So that's just one thing with Jupiter and Pisces. Like I said, watch the video if you want to know more of my insight on this transit. Okay. Alrighty then. So moving along just a little bit more. We have, Jupiter is retrograde in Pisces until the end of July. Okay. So wherever Pisces is at in your chart, that's where you could see the type of action that I just spoke about. So on the 22nd, we do have the moon in Sagittarius. Yeah. It enters like super early in the morning. So the moon in Sag, moon stays in Sag until the 24th. And these days are, you know, there's a little bit more of a happy-go-lucky vibe. There is more of a jovial vibe. People are in the mood to joke around a little bit more. Stuff like that. So we have the moon in a fire sign, and then we have Mars in a fire sign. So yeah, there can be fiery emotions that come about, at least like the first day that the moon is in Sag. But I always give a warning with moon and Sag days to where you can just really feel like you have all the money in the fucking world in your bank account, and you really don't. But you don't even want to look at your bank account. You just want to swipe, 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 cha-ching, cha-ching. Then when the moon goes into Cap, that Capricorn moon comes for that ass and is like, oh my God, look at my bank account. Oh, I spent this the last couple of days. I did that. Oh, wow. I was really just living my best life. But unfortunately, I didn't necessarily have the funds to live that best life like I thought I did. So just be careful. Moon and Sag days can make you feel like you are the richest person in the fucking galaxy, when in reality you have like maybe $40 in your account that's supposed to last you for like 2 weeks. Okay, so yeah, but it's good vibes though. Moon and Sag days are good vibes. They're a great relief from the heaviness of moon and Scorpio. Lord have mercy. Oh my God. Like, you guys know I'm a Scorpio. It's one of my big three, but shit, I will still tell you, moon and Scorpio days are killer for those of us who are water signs, or if you're just a deeply emotional person. Like, geez Louise, moon and Sag is like a breath of fresh air for for all of us. So anyway, that's through the 24th. Mercury goes direct on the 22nd. Where is he at? Okay. So Mercury goes direct, 16 degrees of Gemini. Hallelujah, right? Okay, don't forget we have the shadow period up until Mercury gets to 24 degrees of Gemini, because that's the degree that he went retrograde at. So that means we have 2 more weeks of the shadow period. So I think it's like around the 7th or the 8th of July is when Mercury is fully direct. So I have already noticed people coming back out of the shadows popping up, you know, like with Mercury slowing down and going direct, and saying, hey, remember that thing from a couple months ago, you know, like blah blah blah, whatever. Stuff like that is already happening. So yeah, Mercury going direct, it does help us to start, keyword start, to get in the clear about a lot of things that we were not clear about in the past. But there's still the warning though, you know, not everything may not be as it appears or seems to be until the shadow period is over. And also because Mercury is squaring Neptune this whole time. Just wait until when Mercury goes into Cancer, I think we'll be more clear on things, period, because he's still going to be squaring Neptune the whole damn shadow period. Because look, Mercury goes direct. Where's he at? Okay, so after he surpasses that 24th degree, so let's just say it to be on the safe side, July 8th. But look, he's 25 degrees of Gemini, and then look at where Neptune is at, still 23 degrees. Okay, so they're still squaring each other very closely up until like 0 degrees of Cancer, 1 degree of Cancer, I would say. So like around July 13th, mercurial matters, which are pretty much everything in our fucking world, right? Like thinking, writing, texting, emailing, typing, talking, contracts, all of that, agreements, they can be kind of shaky, you know, and not all the way solid on solid ground. Okay. All right. So I do have a video on, I think I have a video on Mercury retro on Patreon. Maybe no, it's the eclipses I talked about. Anyway, I have several videos on there, you guys. Like I said, they're extended horoscopes from the stuff I talk about in the weeklies. I really dive in those, so most definitely check it out. Okay, so we have on the 23rd, dun dun dun, Venus square Pluto. This is more like earlier in the day that this aspect is really popping off, or in the afternoon. It could be later in the day, depending upon your time zone. But yeah, look at this shit. Venus opposing Pluto. This is like having Venus in Scorpio for all of us in the sky right now. So what are the possibilities with this aspect? Well, Venus is love and money, basically. Okay, love, money, joy, happiness as a human. And Pluto is power, control, the dark side. It could be jealousy, it could be violence, even sometimes. So yeah, it could be abuse, So we can see some topics come up even more about abuse of the feminine, or stuff like that. And of course, it's nothing that I condone or anything. Just, I don't need any social justice warrior shit with that. I'm just saying what can come up, period. Okay. You may see more topics of that come up if you watch anything or are online anywhere. And Venus opposing Pluto, this can bring out like jealousy in people. This can bring out obsession when it comes to love, possessiveness when it comes to love, stuff like that. It can bring power struggles over money and material possessions. Like you may, see people around you, if it's not you yourself, fighting over material things. Like, give that shit back, it's mine. Like I saw a headline a couple weeks ago about Saweetie and Quavo, and like him taking back the car that he bought her as a gift or something like that. I'm like, oh my god, they are such Tauruses. I think Quavo is a Taurus moon and Saweetie is Venus in Taurus. Last time I looked at their synastry very briefly, they both had that Taurus vibe, when it comes to love and stuff. That's why they were all about gifts and showing off what they bought for each other, because Taurus and Venus rule the material. So they had that, relationship to where it was based on that. Anyway, I'm not going to go in on them too deeply, but I saw that headline. I'm like, yo, it's not funny, but it's like, dang, that is some Venusian stuff right there. I give you a material gift that's expensive. You diss me, or, we break up, give that shit back. It's a value. Venus is about value and worth, especially of monetary value, or like things in your material world. So there could be struggles with power and ownership that has to do with that come up. Okay, so be careful with financial matters, especially to do with other people over the course of this week. And yeah, if you are dealing with somebody, in a romantic sense, be careful for you yourself not to get caught up in jealousy, possessiveness, or any psychotic behaviors, or watch out for other motherfuckers trying to do that to you and act like that to you too. So just be aware that it's in the air. Okay. And then we have on the 24th, this is when the moon moves into Cap, and we have a full moon in Cap. So the moon moves into Capricorn on this day. We have a full moon at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Okay, so full moon at 3 degrees of Capricorn. Well, first of all, like I told you guys, moon and Capricorn days, you really reap what you sow. You look back at your actions with the previous moon phase in Sag, and you're like, damn, I was such a fool, right? But this is a full moon in Capricorn. The only significant aspects that I actually look at, that I see that are really close to this full moon, are an aspect to Jupiter and Pisces that is positive. The sun is making a trine to it because it's in a fellow water sign, and the moon is sextile, which is a more gentle aspect. So, Jupiter is about opportunity. Capricorn is about success and career. And then Cancer is about your personal life and emotions and family and home life and stuff. So there's some decision just in general that people are making that has to do with success and business and career versus, balancing that out with your personal life, or being a Scrooge versus being an emotionally open person. And then the aspect to Jupiter, because Jupiter is retro, I would say to be careful with like jumping too far ahead with business opportunities without really going over the fine print and seeing what all it entails, and seeing what other opportunities are around you. Okay. So that's just the basics of the full moon in Capricorn. I'm not going to go too much into it because I don't really like to if it's general. You know what I mean? Like, it matters more where it lands in your own personal chart. Okay. But yeah, so that's popping on the 24th. On the 25th, this is when what's it called? Neptune goes retrograde. So we've got Mercury finally direct, but now we have Jupiter retro in Pisces and Neptune retro in Pisces. See, the ones in red are retrograde. So now we've got like all these outer planets are retro. Uranus is still direct until I think July. Uranus joins the retrograde crew, or August. Yeah, in August we'll have all the outer planets retro. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. They'll all be retrograde for a couple months or so, it looks like. Yeah. So, dun dun dun. Yeah, it looks like in October they start to come, some of them start to go direct. But for like 2 months, we're going to have all of them go retrograde, all the outer planets. Okay. But yeah, anyway, so Neptune goes retrograde. Excuse me. Neptune is retrograde until December. Now, Neptune is like one of the furthest away planets from us. And his retrograde period happens every year, just like all the outer planets. And it lasts for like how many months? For like 6 months or so, like 5 or 6 months. So it's not something you're gonna see a huge significant impact on your life in a profound, huge way. Like, I'm not gonna blow it up like that, so I'm not gonna go too deep into it. But basically, Neptune, I say, is like a fog machine. He creates illusions and confusion and stuff like that. But when he's retro, it's kind of like the adverse effect happens, and maybe there's like more clarity with things. You're not really putting the rose colored glasses on when it comes to certain stuff as much as usual. Now, Neptune is still a motherfucking Neptune. So it doesn't mean everything's going to be clear. You know what I mean? But there's just more, there's more of a chance of you being able to see things a little bit better wherever Pisces is at in your chart, where maybe you were kind of like a victim to self-deception or just allowing others to kind of deceive you in certain things. Okay, so that begins this week too. And then we have the moon in Aquarius. The moon moves into Aquarius on the 26th. So moon in Aquarius days, the alien days, the social justice warrior days, the ones where we are just our coolest, most hipsterous. I don't need any corrections from Virgos, okay? I'm just being silly, so shut up. Our most hipster days, to where we're just like, oh my god, I'm just too cool for all of these humans here on this ghetto planet. Ugh, I just know so much and they're just so dumb. So yeah, moon in Aquarius days, we can kind of be in that vibe where we just don't really fuck with humans. Or it can go the opposite way, to where we're super humanitarian, and any little thing you're like popping off. How dare you talk about this group, and what have they done to you, and la 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 la. Okay, so live your best little Aquarian life, whichever way you want to go during those days. Now, the moon in Aquarius will encounter Saturn and will get caught up in this. It'll oppose Mars and square Uranus. Oh, it'll be just a hot mess. But that's more so like, I think on the 27th. Yeah, on the 27th, it's more like, look, see, the moon is here, 14 degrees with Saturn squaring Uranus, opposing Mars. It's just, there's some tension in the air on the 27th. What day of the week is that? That's a Sunday. Why did I write until the 28th? I don't know. Anyway, I'm a little off. Okay, I'm catching up on astrology, you guys. Just forgive me. I've been so deeply wrapped into like other personal life, non-astrology things for the last, like month. I've had to just really dive in and just be like, have Scorpio tunnel vision to very serious things. So My apologies if I'm a little off, okay, but I'm getting back on track, I swear. So anyway, yeah, the 27th, which is a Sunday. The moon in Aquarius is making these aspects that are kind of tense in the sky, you know, so just be careful with that. But we do have roll out the red carpet, y'all, because little Miss Venus has entered Leo. Oh my God. Oh, just cue the house music. Just start voguing, okay? Because start twirling, start throwing glitter and confetti in the air, and then spinning around and twirling in it. All right? Because Miss Venus has entered Leo. She is really like, just her best self. Okay. She loves being in Leo. I don't know what the traditional this, that, or the other says, if it's declination or it's in its fall or exaltation or anything like that. I don't know which one it is in Leo, if anything, but I just know regular human stuff. Venus loves being in Leo because Leo is a sign of romance and love and being spoiled and being given compliments and giving compliments and being generous. And, you know, like Leo rules the heart and the heart chakra. So hello, the planet of love in the sign of the heart. Like she is really living it up. Okay. She is just doing the most, but in beautiful ways, I would say. But Venus and Leo can bring out more sass and more diva like behavior and people being a little bit more demanding, like whether you are masculine or feminine, okay, male or female, whatever your little genitalias are, it doesn't matter. You will be adopting more of that Leo vibe with Venus and Mars both in Leo. Hello, that is the hand on the hip, stomping the high heel or stomping your little boot or whatever, and demanding respect. I deserve this. I deserve that. How dare you treat me that way? Do you not know who I am? Oh my God. Like all of that is Venus in Leo. So you will see, you know, with fashion and stuff, more of the blonde colors coming through or the honey colored hair, just lighter, whatever is a lighter color. You're going to see more of that. I know that the early 2000s are coming back around because the North and South nodes are where they were in the early 2000s. Okay. That's what determines the fashions coming back, you guys, in case you didn't know. So, you know, the big chunky streaks in your hair that people had, even dudes had like the frosted tips of hair in the late 90s, early 2000s. That type of stuff is back. And so, yeah, with Venus and Leo, you'll see the lighter colors and the hair coming through and stuff like that. Okay. Leo rules the hair. So, yeah, people putting a bigger emphasis on just that part of him. No doubt about it. Don't touch the hair when we got planets in Leo. So, yeah, people just like looking their best, strutting it, you know, but people could be a little more self-centered. I hate the word narcissist because it gets thrown around so fucking much, like in an annoying way, with everyone claiming that everyone's a narcissist. Oh God, especially if you guys follow tarot videos like I do. And if you dare to read the comments, even if it's a video where the reader is saying something good about your relationship or your person of interest and like, oh, they really love you, and or oh, they miss you, and they blah, blah, blah. You read the comments, there's always got to be like half of them saying, oh, he's a narcissist, and I just would never go back to someone like, oh my God, yeah, a narcissist who was cheating and then had all these people on the side and lied. And it's like, well, why the fuck are you here? Like, why are you watching or reading? And if it's talking about good stuff and you know clearly that's not your situation, why sit there and listen and then make this negative ass comment about narcissists? Like, OMG, I'm so like, I don't even like to read comments under those videos anymore if I listen to my go-to people. But yeah, but seriously though, people who really do act like that are just so wrapped up in themselves only. Unfortunately, Leo is a sign that is very closely associated with that. Every sign has a little disorder that they are more prone to, just like Virgo is OCD. They're the kings and queens of OCD. Libras are the kings and queens of playing devil's advocate and indecisiveness, and on and on and on around the wheel. So Leos, don't get mad. Be like, you just hating. We're the best. Leo gang. I don't give a fuck. Okay. I have Leo energy in my own chart. I'm not being a hater. Leos love to claim everybody's being a hater. And they like to show off and, you know, be flashy and say, oh, this is for my haters. Look at me. I'm looking good. Oh, all you haters are hating extra right now. Yeah. So unfortunately, we will see more of those behaviors come out once Venus hits Leo, and we already have Mars there. This is highly competitive energy too, which isn't always a bad thing, of course. You know, this is highly romantic. Like, oh my God, like Venus and Mars together in Leo. I just feel like the little cute Leo squeals and, you know, looking cute and wanting to be affectionate and all of that. Like, oh my gosh, that type of vibe I am so ready for with Venus entering Leo. Okay, so anyway, you guys, that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining me and listening to my rambling again this week, and I hope you guys have a really dope ass week. And also, don't forget to join me on Patreon. Hello, if you want more in-depth stuff with the really, really big important transits that are popping. Okay. And also, like I said, live streams are coming in the month of July, as well as some classes and some other shit. Okay. I just really had to get this like area of life where the eclipses were bombarding me situated, calmed the down so I can get back to business. And don't forget to hit up my homegirl Apollonia for readings in astrology and tarot. She is a master. Okay, so most def hit her up. She has a lot of availability right now, which is why I am suggesting her to you guys. And stay tuned for my YouTube membership. You know, Mercury's barely going direct. I'm still figuring this shit out, but I'll have a YouTube membership up here very shortly. Watch out for that. Don't forget to get yourself a little horoscope, okay, for 2021 for the rest of the year. Also these major transits as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Peace.
F is for all the fatties wearing my shit.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, but
Track masters, FB, entertainment.
Yeah.